10x was a lie. The reality is that many entrepreneurs, especially the high-achieving ones, are setting goals that are 10 times what they think they can achieve. They're hustling hard and they are living right on the edge of burnout. And in my opinion, this is not the path to success. In fact, according to the Harvard Business Review, entrepreneurs are at an increased risk of suffering burnout. About 50% of those who are in business for themselves will burn out during their career. And if you burn out, then you can't help anybody, not even yourself. So what are you supposed to do about it? Well, instead, if you follow consistent small improvements over time, they can actually lead up to massive results. And in this video, I am going to explain to you exactly how you can do just that. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lindsay Sewell, and I love to help business owners to create more leverage in their home business and eliminate all the hustle and grind so that they can create the time and financial freedom that they desire. So in today's video, we're actually going to talk about a book that I read every single year because it has so completely transformed my life, my health, my finances, and my relationships. And this book is called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Honestly, it's a really simple read. It's pretty quick. I keep it on Audible on my phone, and every single year I go ahead and listen to it again because I've changed and there are new things that I want to work on in my life and my business, and it's a fantastic reminder of what we can achieve with small, consistent improvements over time. So today I'm going to share with you the 3 core principles for this book so that you can start implementing these in your life today. You can start creating more results in your life and business, and you can stop hustling so hard and living on the edge of burnout. So the entire concept of the book really kind of boils down to a simple formula, and that is small changes over time lead to massive results. And there's 3 core principles that he discusses in this book. The first one is habits and choices. The second one is creating momentum. And the third core principle is all about the influences in your life. So we kick off the book with a story about 3 friends, Scott, Brad, and Larry. And this story follows these 3 friends over the course of 3 years. Now, Larry is going to just stay the same. He holds the path. He continues on with life as it is. He doesn't change anything in his diet. He doesn't change anything in his relationships, and he doesn't change anything in his marriage. Scott, on the other hand, decides that he is going to simply improve his health by cutting out 125 calories a day. I don't know about you, but that's like a treat or a glass of wine or maybe even a handful of chips. I don't know. I don't eat chips. But that's all he cuts out. And he decides that he'll walk 30 minutes per day, each and every single day, read a little bit of personal development, and put more effort into his relationship with his wife. Brad, on the other hand, kind of does exactly the opposite. He actually starts eating 125 extra calories a day, maybe just one little bowl of ice cream. He doesn't get any exercise, and he's really not interested in picking up any reading at all. So over the next 10 months, all 3 men look pretty much the same as when they started. No real changes because the compounding hasn't taken effect yet. But 3 years later, there is a huge difference between the 3 men. While Larry is just the same because he's done nothing different, Scott has actually lost 30 pounds. He has a wonderful relationship with his spouse, and he's gotten a promotion at work. Meanwhile, Brad has gained 30 pounds. He's not doing very well at work, and his relationship with his wife is on the outs. So I know this is just a story, But it's a very powerful illustration of what a tiny little change can do when it compounds over time. And this is something that so many entrepreneurs tend to overlook. They're so focused on the big picture and the huge goals, and they have no idea how they're going to get there. So they're being told to set these 10 times greater goals than they think they can achieve so that they can create more success in their business. It creates stress, it creates resentment, and ultimately it creates a lot of burnout. Whereas instead, focusing on the compound effect, your entire life and business could look dramatically different in 3 years, and the time is going to pass anyways. So why not enjoy the journey? So let's talk about core principle number 1, which is our habits and choices. And I need to let you know about something that I've recently been reading about, and that is how much our habits and choices are actually being dictated by our neurotransmitters inside our brain. So there's dopamine, there's serotonin, there's oxytocin, and there's cortisol that are all coursing through your brain at any given time. And our primitive brain is designed to seek these neurotransmitters and avoid other ones, right? Cortisol creates a lot of stress, so we will do things to avoid producing cortisol when feelings come up that create cortisol in our body. That's why starting a new diet is so challenging, because it naturally is going to create cortisol because it's stressing your system, you're making changes, and most of the time we fall off of a new diet or eating plan because we don't like that feeling and we want to go back to our comfort zone. On the flip side, dopamine is a very, very powerful drug. It's what would encourage a caveman to go out and hunt or to find a berry bush, because when he did, his brain would light up and flood with dopamine, and he would get the reward before he even put that berry in his mouth. So in these days, we've got everything we need. We don't have to hunt for our own food. We don't have to go out and search for berry bushes and worry about being eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. But our brains haven't evolved that much. So we are still driven by getting these chemicals that reward us even when the habits and choices aren't actually serving us. That's why it's so hard to give up your favorite sugary snacks. That's why it's so hard to wake up earlier in the morning when you just want to be warm and comfortable in bed. Change takes effort, and effort feels hard to our primitive brains because they're wired to protect us. They're not wired for personal growth and development. So in order to create these new habits, we have to create new neural pathways. And in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, I love this one part where he says, every time you make a decision, you're raising your hand for the person you are choosing to be. So who are you choosing? Are you choosing the positive life and the growth that you want in your health, in your relationships, in your business? Or are you raising your hand for the person who's kind of just staying comfortable and maybe even being lazy? So you have to form these new neural pathways, and at first it's going to feel more challenging. But core principle number 2 soon kicks in, and that is momentum. So if you think about like pushing a big heavy rock, let's say caveman times again, you're pushing a big heavy boulder and you're trying really hard to get it moving, and that initial effort to get it moving is very, very challenging. But let's say you start pushing it along, it starts to build momentum. It starts to, be easier and easier for you the more you push that boulder. It's the same thing when you start a new diet. That first week is so challenging because you have cravings, right? Your brain is lighting up with the things it wants. You're getting cortisol. You're not getting the dopamine that you want. And you just want to go back to what felt good and comfortable. But as you see the scale start to show you your actual results, that momentum kicks in. As you start to feel the energy from eating new things, or you start to implement simple things in your business that start to bring in more revenue, more exposure, more income, you build on that momentum and your brain starts to light up from all of this new excitement around these positive habits that you've created in your life, and they began to compound. So how do you do this when you're just getting started? Well, in the book, The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy says one of the most important things is to bookend your days. What does this mean? So at the beginning of his day, he starts every day with one simple thing, and that is gratitude. gratitude. So he wakes up and he thinks about what is he grateful for in his life, in his relationships, in his business. And starting with gratitude sets up your entire outlook for the day completely different than starting out looking at your emails and maybe you've got something from your boss and you're frustrated and you're worried about getting to work. When you start with gratitude, you start to see the world with appreciation. And this simple task of just spending 30 seconds at the beginning of the day thinking of 3 things that you're grateful for can completely change your outlook and your level of happiness over time. The next thing that he does is he makes a list, and I like to call it my Post-it note trick, meaning it's 1 to 3 things that are most important for you that day in whatever you're working towards in your big goals. So for instance, in my business, I will put the 1 to 3 most important things on that Post-it note in the morning. It helps me to not overload my to-do list because honestly, things are gonna come up. I'm a busy mom. I got 2 little kids. I'm not gonna get through a list of 25 things every single day. So I need to make sure that I am doing the most important things first and I'm letting the other things happen as I can get to them later on. So then I will spend the first hour of my day working on that. Now, in my business, I love to create leveraged systems in order to generate income and revenue so that I can spend the rest of my time with my kids as a homeschooling mom soon. We're starting that in the fall. It's very exciting and kind of nerve-wracking. If you have comments on how to do it the right way, let me know below because I can use all the help I can get. So I will focus on leveraged activities. And for me, I use email marketing a lot in my business because I can spend 10 or 15 minutes writing a letter to my list and reach thousands of people all at once. So that's a critical function in my business that I'm gonna do every single day before I check my email, before I check my social media, before I wake my kids up and feed them breakfast. Maybe for you, if you're working on your health, it's gonna be getting out, moving your body at the beginning of the day. Whatever it is, you should spend the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day because now, no matter what happens the rest of the day, you've already accomplished something important and you've moved the needle forward. Now, the opposite end is the end of your day before you're going to bed. I don't know about you, but I'd wager a bet you're Netflix binging something right now. And that is not the best use of your time before you go to bed. For one reason, you want to take stock and cash out your checks at the end of the day is what Darren Hardy says. It's like a server who's, cashing out their tips and all the money that they've collected. You want to look at what worked that day, what you can cross off your list, and what needs to be moved forward to the next day so that when you get up in the morning, you're really organized and you know what those top 3 things are that you want to get done as soon as possible. And after that, it's important to feed your mind with something inspirational, educational, or positive that is going to impact you while you sleep. I know. It sounds a little woo-woo. I get it. But your brain is processing information while you sleep. So why not take advantage of that by feeding it with something inspirational, educational, that it can work on while you're sleeping? Talk about leverage. I just thought of that. And instead of watching mindless TV, that is just going to most likely disrupt your sleep and not provide you with any additional benefit. Remember, these are small changes that create massive results over time. And this leads us to core principle number 3, which is influences. Okay, let's face it, garbage in equals garbage out. And if you are feeding your brain with garbage, if you are feeding your body with garbage, if you're not putting effort into your relationships, what are you gonna get on the other end? Garbage. So it's so important that you need to think about these influences in your life. Are there things in the house that you know you shouldn't be eating and it's so challenging because they're right there? Are there people in your life that are negative, that are sabotaging your goals, that are keeping you from the business dreams and desires that you have? Well, maybe don't spend so much time with those people. Like Jim Rohn said, you're the combination of the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with. So take an analysis of your social circle. Are these the people that you want to be around? Or do you need to make some new friends? Do you need to get out and network with some new people? Do you need an accountability partner? Somebody who's gonna check in with you in your business to make sure that you're doing the tasks you need to do every week, or somebody who's going to text you in the morning that you can check in with to say, yep, I weighed in, I hit my goal, or no, I really blew it yesterday, and they can kind of help you get past that and make better choices for the next day. Someone that's gonna show up on your doorstep ready to run at 6:30 and you're like, oh, I don't wanna drag myself out of bed, but that person is waiting for me. Whoever it is, get those accountability peak performance partners in your life to create a better influence. Or maybe you need to hire a mentor. Mentorship is so powerful because a mentor is somebody who already has the results that you want in your health, in your life, in your business, and they will know how to guide you there. You know, you can't go somewhere if you don't know how to get there. So the mentor is going to shortcut that process for you because they're going to be able to guide you along the way and hopefully keep you from making the same mistakes that they did while they were getting there. It's also really important to think about your environment. Is your desk messy and cluttered and that's why you're not able to focus or get things done in your business? Do you need, a little more room in your house, or can you rent a space where you can be more productive? What is your environment like, and what's the ideal environment that would help you to create your dream life? And then start small. Take the next tiniest step towards your goals. Start implementing some of these strategies that I've shared with you today, and then be patient with the compounding, because the ultimate formula is small changes over time equals massive results. So if you want to be more productive and more successful in your business, then afterwards I suggest you head to this video, which is what I had to give up at the end of 2021 to hit my first 10K week in my business and create the life of my dreams. I'll see you in the next video.